Welcome to part 6 of our series of the parts of speech. In part 6 today, we'll be looking at the job of the adverb. In studying the adverb, we're going to look at definitions and examples of adverbs, how adverbs can be used to form comparatives and superlatives, the concept of infinitives and split infinitives, good versus well, and lots of other mistakes that are often associated with adverbs with correct and incorrect usage in sentences. So what is an adverb? Out of the 8 parts of speech, the job that the adverb does is kind of similar to what the adjective does. An adjective's job is to describe a noun. An adverb is going to add to or modify the verb. So if you think of add plus verb, it's going to give you more information about the verb. So adverbs describe or modify verbs. Adverbs will answer the questions like how. How is an action performed? It happens sweetly, quickly, happily, fast. An adverb will tell you when about a specific verb. When did that action occur? It's happening now. It happened tomorrow, yesterday. It always happens. It never happens. An adverb will tell you where something happened, here, there, and everywhere. And sometimes an adverb will also tell you why an action take place. This includes things that start with because, which usually starts what's known as an adverbial clause, which will give you more information about the action. And that's all the roles that adverbs play. Now, adverbs are some of the hardest working parts of speech because in addition to modifying the verb itself, an adverb can also modify an adjective or even an other adverb. It can show to what degree something happened. So you say the room was cold. How cold was it? It was very cold. So here you have the adverb modifying the adjective cold. That something was green, but not just regular green, it was dark green. That the beach was sunny, but not just any kind of sunny, it was always sunny. And one hint is adverbs will often, not always, because you can even see from these examples, but they will often have the ending of an ly. Again, think about all the different ways that someone can walk. They can walk slowly, quickly, hesitatingly, joyfully, all effectively, all different ways that people can walk often will end in ly. So if you see that ly, it's kind of a hint to ask, is it doing the job of an adverb in the sentence? And if it is, then you know that you definitely have an adverb. So here are all different kinds of ways that adverbs can be used to modify a verb. If we take the verb work, and we want to show the adverb to show how, when, why, and where these things happen, we say the kid worked diligently. And notice that ly there is again your hint, telling you how the work was performed. The kid worked today, telling you when this work happened. The kid worked there, telling you where this work took place. Or the kid worked because she wanted to pass the class, with this idea of why. This whole because she wanted to pass the class becomes an adverbial phrase describing the work that was done. Just like your adjectives can be used in a comparative and superlative form, the adverbs can also show degree and comparison. If you want to modify a verb like swim, and you're talking about the Olympics, how did Michael Phelps swim? Well, he swam fast. Did he swim faster than anyone else? Yes, he swam the fastest. Or maybe he swam well, he swam better than the other people in the heat, and finally he swam the best when he received a gold medal. Now that you have some basic understanding from previous sessions on what a noun, pronoun, adjectives, and verbs are, it's time to take a look at something known as the infinitive. Now, like gerunds and participles, infinitives is a form of a verb that's doing a different job in the sentence. Infinitives are the word to followed by the simple verb. And in the sentence themselves, they can do the job as a noun, naming something, as an adjective describing something, some noun, or as an adverb describing the way something happened. And we'll show you a few examples in these upcoming slides. So you'll notice an infinitive when you see the word to followed by the simple form of the verb. And then you have to ask yourself, what job is that doing within that particular sentence? So in this example, to sleep was all Jasmine wanted after her midterm. This infinitive to sleep becomes the noun. It's the thing that Jasmine wanted. In the next one, Dallas always brings a book to read. This form of the infinitive, to plus the simple verb read, becomes an adjective describing the book. Dallas brings it, but what kind of book does she bring? She brings a book to read. In the next one, Ebony braved the icy rain to go to the birthday party. Here you have again to, followed by the simple form of the verb to go. It tells you why. Why on earth would Ebony go out into the icy rain? She's doing it because she wants to go to the birthday party. And in that case, this infinitive would be considered an adverb in this sentence. So as always, what you're looking for is the job that the word is doing in the sentence to figure out what part of speech it's acting as. One rule that you'll hear a lot is to avoid the split infinitive. A split infinitive happens when a writer puts some sort of modifier between to and the verb. Probably the most famous example of this in English is the start of the Star Trek series, where the voiceover says to boldly go where no man has gone before. And in this case, the adverb boldly separates to and go. So you would have this infinitive form, but it gets split by that modifier. Now here's some examples of split infinitives and some ways that you might fix that. So you look at the first one, she hated to always wait for her friend. Well, you have the infinitive is to wait. And what you want to do is instead make sure that your modifier, what is it that she hated to wait for? She always hated to wait for her friend rather than she hated to always wait. I'm going to quickly wash the dog as opposed to I'm going to wash the dog quickly. And finally, Gretchen started to reluctantly do her homework. Gretchen started, comma, reluctantly, comma, to do her homework. Now, notice that sometimes an author may choose deliberately to split an infinitive because they're looking for some sort of style reasons. They like the way it sounds. I think it's more effective in the flow of the sentence that they're writing. Or sometimes you really do need to split the infinitive to make the meaning of the sentence clear. Example, she decided to quickly wash the cat is a very different sentence than she decided quickly to wash the cat. In one hand, the cat is going to get washed very fast, and the other one, she makes up her mind very fast. So the infinitive placement can actually make a difference in the meaning as well as in the style of the sentence. But in general, the rule is to keep the infinitive together, the to with a simple form of the verb together in the sentence itself, so you don't split that infinitive. Now again, we looked at adjectives back in an earlier part of this series, and some of the most common mistakes in English come between knowing whether you need to use the adjective form, that is something that's going to be describing or modifying the noun, or the adverb form, where you're describing or modifying the verb. And these include the good versus well controversy. If you take a sentence you're trying to write and you say, does your dog smell good? Or do you say, does your dog smell well? Kind of depends on what it is that you're trying to say. Good is an adjective in this case that would modify the noun dog. That is, if you had just given your dog a bath and covered it with some sort of pleasant shampoo and the dog had a pleasant aroma, the dog had a pleasant odor, you say the dog itself smells good. You're describing the dog has a pleasant scent. But if you want to use well in the adverb form to say how the dog performs the action, my dog smells well, you're saying that your dog is a really good tracker, that if you gave your dog something to smell, it could follow a trail really excellently well. It would be a great crime scene dog. So if you're trying to describe how some action was performed, make sure that you're using well. And if you're trying to describe a noun, then you use the idea of good. Another common usage problem with adverbs is the distinction between less and fewer. The rule is that you use fewer with something that you can actually physically count, that you can number off. So how many dollars do you have in your wallet? I have $1, $2, $3. How many pennies do I have at the bottom of my purse? You could take them out and count them one by one, 1 penny, 2 penny, 3 pennies. How many paychecks did you get this year? Once a month would be 12 paychecks. But less is used with something that's more of a concept, that's more of a general category that can't be counted. So how much cash do you have? You don't have 1 cash, 2 cash, 3 cash. How much wealth do you have? You can't count wealth in terms of 1 wealth, 2 wealths, 3 wealths. Happiness is a general concept. We say, I have less happiness than I had last year. But you can't count happiness as 1 happiness, 2 happinesses, 3 happinesses. So less is used with something that's a general concept that cannot be counted. Fewer is used with anything that you could actually count on your fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and have it make sense. Okay, ready to review adverbs? Click on this link right here. It will take you to a YouTube video that will show you the classic grammar rock describing adverbs.